I'm looking at
Like
Brock
Armstrong.
Purdy.
Let's talk about it.
And
Mac
I
Jones.
looked at what Riv tweeted. You guys are hilarious for thinking that Brock Purdy can't win these same games as Mac Jones. It's never been about if Brock Purdy or other quarterbacks can do what he can do. You know, we know that Brock Purdy, is he better than Mac Jones? Yes. He's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. But it's always been about the system and how important he is in the system. In the same system that Mac Jones, through 3 starts, has 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. The same system that I said Sam Darnold would produce in, he goes to a similar tree, has an MVP-like season with his numbers, and now with Seattle in a similar system is off to an awesome start and looks like a top 10 quarterback. It's never been about if Brock Purdy is bad or good. It's been about if Brock Purdy is that valuable to this system, or can that production be replicated by any other quarterback that is good or at least average. And to this point, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo do it. We've seen Mac Jones do it with the 49ers. And I think the answer is yes. And that's why, even though I think it's justified that they paid him, because the salary cap and AAV numbers can fool you. He's paid like a middle of the pack starting quarterback, which is where he is. But forward thinking franchises, you could use that to pay what you pay Mac Jones, 2 years, $7 million, and then allocate the rest of that to your roster if he's not as valuable to the entire thing working. And Kyle Shanahan has shown he's the most valuable to that team. And Christian McCaffrey's probably the second most valuable to that team. And then we can have conversations about Fred Warner, Trent Williams.
Definitely don't put Brandon Ayuk shit up there no more.
Well, no, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, we can nip that in the bud.
So no, yeah.
I don't know. When he was healthy,
When he was healthy,
mid.
he was
awesome.
last year he wasn't that good. But he
last year he
missed
was
out on
fucked up.
training camp. He was getting ramped up. Last time we saw Brandon Ayuk, he was awesome. But the whole point of the conversation was he's not a top 5 most valuable player on the 49ers. And maybe with the uptick in young players that they have now acquired, maybe that pushes up his value. But in that specific year, absolutely not. He was not.
Well, you got to
MVP.
be careful though, because I think about Brock Purdy, it's about, like you said, what's the replacement you get if you don't have to pay for a minimum level. But we saw the Vikings do that. We saw the Vikings say, Sam Darnold, he's going to want a big contract, right? He's going to want $35 million. All right, we're going to let him walk because we think someone can, in this system, produce. J.J. McCarthy, the first couple of games, didn't do great. Carson Wentz got the win today, so shout out to him. But I don't think we're looking at Carson Wentz and saying he's even producing like Mac Jones has been producing at a minimum.
No.
So you have to be careful because Brock Purdy is, when you have competent quarterback play, I think it's worth paying up for. And smart franchises, construct contracts so your cap hit isn't top 3, top 5 every single year. Like you said, Brock Purdy's more middle of the pack. We've seen that with Jalen Hurts too. When you look up his cap hit, he's not getting paid like the first or second highest paid quarterback. You're looking at guys like fucking Trevor Lawrence and stuff when you have franchises that aren't, as savvy, I would say. So I think you just have to be careful because when Purdy's healthy and he's right, he plays like a borderline top 10 quarterback. It's easy to say, yeah, sure, just have Sam Darnold for a year. But if Sam Darnold's produced like that, and now he's going to want $35 to $40 million, now you're looking at Sam, you're looking at Purdy, and it's like, they both get the same contract. Where do they really land? So,
But that's less. Purdy got more. He got about 20 to 30 million more than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's because
Sam
Sam
Darnold's
fell
a
off.
better quarterback than him.
Sam fell off at the end of last year. So he lost some money.
Sam looks awesome, but I think the whole point in this is that Kyle Shanahan has shown that he can make it work with anybody. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, Mullins, he's done it. He's done it with everybody.
The point with Kyle Shanahan is that he can make journeymen look like serviceable spot starters, and he can make average players look great and good players look like MVPs. That's the type of elevation that he does.
The discrediting that you do to the players that actually go onto the field and actually have to do the work.
Mac Jones is doing the work right now.
And I'm giving him that acknowledgement.
But
Mac Jones has been
overrate him.
awesome. But what you're doing is acting like Shanahan puts the uniform on
Shanahan
and he plays
loves Purdy,
quarterback.
by the way.
I'm not trying to
loves
say
Purdy.
He
Shanahan
loves Jimmy
isn't
Garoppolo.
one of the best,
did.
if not the best right now.
Jimmy Garoppolo had a playoff game. He
However,
had 70
you
yards.
act like he
Throw
throws
in
the
the game.
ball. You act like he hands the ball off. You act like he, at the line of scrimmage, checks the opposing defenses. Like Brock Purdy, if you want to say Shanahan gives him a boost, you're right.
It's a gargantuan boost.
But
it's not just a small
Brock Purdy
boost.
has to go out there and execute.
There's no
And he
doubt.
does.
Every quarterback has to go out there and execute. But the what each quarterback is asked and tasked to do is completely different. And the degree of difficulty in a Kyle Shanahan offense is much different. Mac Jones threw for 300 plus yards Thursday night against the LA Rams, and he was hobbled. When you look at what he did in the numbers, they look great. He was impressive. But you look at how the game plan was schemed, almost 70 to 80% of his yardage came behind the line of scrimmage. It was basically a lot of quick dump off passes. And yes, Mac Jones is making those throws, and he made 1 to 2 or 3 really good throws in that game. But for the most part, it was easy, schemed up things. Now, yes, you have to go out there and you have to produce. But the numbers that he has produced with Brock Purdy has led to, at the time, people saying and thinking Purdy was a top 5 quarterback. The numbers that he had produced with Jimmy Garoppolo had people thinking Jimmy Garoppolo at the time when they made the Super Bowl run was the next coming of Tom Brady.
That was always dumb.
He has done, and yes, you can say it's dumb, but at the time,
Are we talking about
this is
narratives
what
in
people
here or
believe.
narratives outside?
Because the narratives outside are strong.
Nobody in here thought Brock Purdy was top 5.
No.
Nobody.
Never.
Nobody.
5? Never.
5?
No way.
No.
Was he in a conversation to win the MVP?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
We were never
But
putting
he
him
wasn't
over
the MVP
Stafford
over
or
Christian
Herbert.
McCaffrey.
Okay,
That's fair.
That's a fine statement to make. CMC was having a special season. He went for
Brock
over
Purdy was
2,000
having a great
scrimmage.
year
And
too,
the
though.
difference is that with that year, people gave more credit to Purdy than to someone like Christian McCaffrey.
Every time
Quarterbacks
they do that,
though,
every
bro.
time.
It's not just
Yeah,
a Brock
every
Purdy
time.
thing.
But my whole point is that Kyle Shanahan is probably one of the best elevators of quarterbacks
Absolutely.
that we've
Okay.
seen in history.
Okay.
Yeah. He's on a very short list.
In
top
history.
3.
Yeah, it's like him, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Like it's guys that are right now doing.
Even
some
then,
shit.
I think Kyle Shanahan is in a different class when it comes
I
to
just
that.
think your point is really just trying to diminish Brock Purdy. Because you're saying a lot of things we all know. Like, we all know Kyle Shanahan is one of the best in the game. We all know CMC, when he's the best, when he's healthy and he's right, he's the best player on the team. You're saying a lot of things we know.
No,
we
my
know Brock Purdy ain't top
Brock was
5.
awesome.
My
last
point
year.
is,
Brock-
what
they-
is
they
his-
were
yeah,
all
Was
banged
Brock
up.
not great last
He
year?
was good.
He was awesome.
good.
And they were banged up to shit last year.
My whole point is that what is the value of this specific player in this system when multiple other quarterbacks that are either a little bit beneath his level or better, but mostly beneath, because we didn't see Sam Darnold in this system can replicate similar numbers.
Why I give Brock a little bit more credit for last season than the games that I've seen in Mac Jones. He didn't have the CMC safety blanket like he had in 2023. Like Mac had against the Rams. A lot of CMC's production this season has been as a receiver.
Kendrick Bourne had one for 147.
Agreed. And Kendrick Bourne was special. Like I'll give you the credit. That shocked everyone, I'm sure.
He was great.
That being said, the safety blanket of having CMC, like you keep mentioning, that's the best player. He's the MVP. They didn't have that last year.
When did Jimmy G ever throw 30 touchdowns in a season?
He did.
No.
He threw 27-14.
It's just
But
also
also-
that Jimmy G's passer rating is one of the best all time.
But also, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have Christian McCaffrey. At that
That is also
time,
fair.
the makeshift of running backs for the 49ers was very real. There was no real elite back in
But
that
I'm
back
they
end.
also-
saying
whoever
last
the running
season
back
he
was
did not
produced.
have CMC.
Their major midseason trade for wide receiver was Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
good
care
player.
about Jimmy G. He
didn't
revealed
play-
who he actually was.
Yeah, but I'm saying Jimmy G didn't even play with the level of talent that Purdy played with.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think,
last
Joel,
year-
in practice, this is hard to do. Like, what team, realistically, if you're the 49ers and you're like, fuck it, man, Purdy, he's not the guy to do it. Realistically, how are you going to go year to year to just pay like this 1 year, $10 million quarterbacks and you're just going to throw them out there every year?
Well, right now they have Mac on a 2-year deal, $7 million.
Okay, sure. But say Matt goes out there and balls again next year. He's going to get $30+ million.
Right now, I mean, they already paid Purdy. It is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. Just
But-
like there's no history of teams just finding these 1 year
Playoff
guys.
numbers
just go,
aren't even
you're-
identical.
The closest thing is what the Steelers have been doing the last few years when it's
Jones.
Rodgers and Fields and Russ and all these guys going year to year. Of course, different situation, like way better play caller and different ceiling and whatnot. But it's hard because if you're that great of a coach, which Shanahan is, you sign Sam Darnold 1 year, $8 million. He plays like he did last year. Here's a $35 million contract. Mac Jones, say he was on a 1 year deal this year. He plays 8 games. Maybe he doesn't get $30 million, but he's going to get $20+ million.
But that's a difference in the top of the line contract. Brock Purdy got paid a top of the line contract. You know, I would rather pay Sam Darnold a mid-tier contract than Brock Purdy a top of the line contract because, one, I think Sam Darnold is better than Brock Purdy. But ultimately,
did you think that coming into the year?
yes, I did. I think Sam Darnold is always more talented. We actually had the argument on the show. I said, Sam Darnold, where does he rank rank in the NFC West, he's second to me. He's better than Kyler. He's better than Brock Purdy. And that's what I said. I thought Sam Darnold was only behind Matthew Stafford in the division. I think the whole point of what I'm trying to say is that Brock Purdy, he's fine. He's a good quarterback. There's no wrong with that. And he is really good in the system. I also think that his value was overstated. And I think that he's been regressing since last season because of one main metric. He's holding on to the ball much longer. And we see that even with the sack avoidance that he brings, the quick game aspect of the offense that was lost with Purdy for most of last season and to start this season, because he's averaging almost 3 seconds time to throw. Mac Jones is releasing the ball in under 2.5 seconds. A big reason why the quick game is working as well with him, because they're 3-0 in his starts, is because he's letting the ball go early. He's going to the first reads. There was a tendency last year for Brock Purdy to pass those up, sometimes to Debo, sometimes to somebody else that was schemed up, and he would run around, and when he does, he shrinks the field and isn't able to make those throws because his arm, it drops off when you erase a side of the field.
So you're now saying Brock Purdy's regressing?
He has been as a processor and going where the offense dictates you to go.
But him last year as a playmaker, he improved, you say?
He improved as a playmaker. He regressed targeting the first read.
Which you want in your quarterback to
I
let
want my
plays
quarterback
develop.
to execute the offense.
So Tua does that. We call him a first read merchant, no?
The difference is that you have to combine the two. Tua cannot do the other part at all, and that's the reason why he gets knocked.
Purdy was more than fine last year. This year, I'm not taking much from.
How
this
can
year.
you evaluate him?
Like,
Well, this year, Brock Purdy has 5 turnovers in 2 games.
Yeah, but the Jacksonville game, he wasn't right. I just don't think he was.
He was good outside the
game.
game. He was really good against
Like
the
Jacksonville game was one of the worst games I've ever seen Purdy play.
But
He's been hurt.
And then he re-aggravated the toe.
Jacksonville, the one interception he had, it was tipped. It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault.
And,
No.
But it was a high ball to CMC.
No, it was. But it was
the
also just bobbled 10 times.
The interception that he had was just a coverage interception where he just threw it to the guy straight up to Devin Lloyd, and then the sack fumble. You know, I think
he wasn't playing at 100%.
But
So if we're gonna talk about Debo last year not playing 100%, I'm kind of giving Purdy a pass.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is that Brock Purdy, he has regressed going to where the offense dictates him to go, and that has limited the offense somewhat. And that's why we see the offense right now. You compare Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, the offense is running better with Mac Jones right now. It is.